Welcome. This is not a book about money. It's a remembering. Prosperity is not something you chase. It's something you allow. A frequency, a rhythm, a natural state of being, when resistance is gone and presence remains. You were never meant to struggle for what is already yours. This journey is not about learning how to get more. It's about learning how to receive. Through stillness, clarity, and alignment, you begin to recognize that wealth is not a destination. It's a vibration. Let each chapter draw you inward. Not into theory, but into experience. Into the space where abundance is no longer an idea, but a field you live in. There is nothing to prove, nothing to force. Only truth to feel. Begin. Chapter 1. The invisible root of prosperity. Prosperity doesn't begin in the bank account. It doesn't begin in your career, your circumstances, or even in your plans. Prosperity begins much earlier, in the invisible, in the quiet, in the space before action, before evidence, before form. It begins in consciousness. You've likely been taught that wealth is created through effort, through strategy, through doing more, being more, chasing harder. But this path, while loud, often leads in circles. Because effort without alignment only creates movement, not abundance. To understand true prosperity, you have to start where it truly begins. Within. There is a field of energy you carry with you. It is shaped by your beliefs, your expectations, your emotional patterns. And this field is not neutral. It is magnetic. It attracts not what you wish for, but what you live in, what you assume, what you embody. That's the invisible root, not your goals, your frequency. You might ask, if that's true, why does it feel so hard sometimes? Why doesn't abundance just flow? The answer is not that the flow isn't real. The answer is that most people are tuned away from it. Out of habit, out of fear, out of generational beliefs handed down without question. These beliefs sound like, I have to work hard to deserve. There's never enough. People like me don't get to be wealthy. If I succeed, others will resent me. It's selfish to want more. They may not be spoken out loud, but they live in the body, in the nervous system, in the small choices made unconsciously every day. And until those beliefs are seen, named, and dissolved, they shape the field. They anchor your energy in lack, no matter how much effort you apply on the surface. This is why change begins not with action, but with awareness. Pause. Feel into your body right now. Ask gently, what do I believe about abundance? What feels safe to receive? What feels unsafe to receive? You don't need to force an answer. Just notice. This is how the root begins to loosen, not by effort, but by presence. You are not here to fight against scarcity. You are here to outgrow it. And to outgrow it, you must stop feeding it with attention, with story, with identity. You must remember that abundance is not something you acquire. It is something you uncover. Beneath every layer of fear, there is a current that knows how to receive. Beneath every layer of defense, there is a part of you that trusts. Beneath every habit of striving, there is a natural rhythm that already knows how to flow. The work is not to build prosperity. The work is to clear what blocks it. That might mean letting go of proving, letting go of guilt, letting go of shrinking so others feel comfortable. It might mean rewriting the rules you inherited. It might mean allowing yourself to want what you want, without apology. It might mean finally telling the truth about what no longer aligns. This is not surface-level mindset work. This is energy work. And it begins with how you hold yourself, not just when things are going well, but when they're quiet, when they're uncertain, when nothing seems to be moving yet. That is the test of your frequency. Do you panic when results slow down? Do you collapse into old stories when delays show up? Do you grasp for control? Or do you anchor deeper into your truth? The way you hold the invisible determines the shape of the visible. So breathe. Return to the root. You don't have to fix everything. You only need to become aware of what you're feeding. Attention is power. Story is structure. Assumption is architecture. If you want to change what shows up outside, you have to rewire what you expect inside. This doesn't mean faking positivity. It means choosing truth, even when truth is uncomfortable. Even when it means letting go of identities built on struggle or martyrdom or earning your worth. Because prosperity doesn't respond to effort. It responds to clarity, to coherence, to a clean signal. And that signal gets clean when you stop negotiating with your worth. When you stop making your openness to receive dependent on circumstances, approval, or proof. You are not required to hustle your way into abundance. You are only required to remember what you are, beneath conditioning. Remember what's possible, beneath fear. Remember what's available, beneath delay. Prosperity is not coming. It is responding. And when you meet it from a place of truth, of trust, of stillness, it doesn't need convincing. It flows. So, return to the invisible. Return to the breath, to the field, to the quiet belief that you are supported, not just sometimes, but always. Let that become your root. Let that become your signal, and watch what begins to grow from there. Chapter 2. Clearing the channel to receive. Receiving is natural. It's not something you earn. It's something you allow. And yet, for many, receiving doesn't come easily. It feels complicated, conditional, blocked. Why? Because most people are taught to associate receiving with weakness, with guilt, with a sense that they must do something more before they deserve support, love, money, or ease. But the truth is simple. You don't have to earn what's already flowing. You only have to clear what's in the way. The channel is always there. It's your openness to life. It's your capacity to let in what wants to come. It's the quiet yes beneath all the striving. So why does it get blocked? Usually by fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of visibility. Fear of change, or by old beliefs. That it's not safe to shine. That having more means taking from others. That asking is selfish. That joy must be earned. These beliefs don't live in thought alone. They live in the body, in the jaw that tightens when you speak your desire, in the shoulders that brace every time you receive attention, in the breath that shortens when money is mentioned. To clear the channel, you must first notice it. Bring awareness to how you respond to goodness. When someone compliments you, do you shrink or deflect? When an opportunity arrives, do you question your worthiness? When rest is available, do you take it or look for something to prove? Every contraction is information. Every tightening is a signal. Not that something's wrong with you, but that something wants to open. Clearing is not forceful. It's gentle, attentive, ongoing. Start with the body. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Notice where you feel tension. Not to fix it, but to be with it. Ask it what it needs. Ask it what it's protecting. Sometimes the block is a younger part of you, one that once believed receiving wasn't safe. Give it space. Give it breath. Let it be here, without needing it to disappear. You clear by listening. You clear by softening. You clear by not abandoning yourself when discomfort arises. Because the more safety you create in your inner world, the more your system opens to receive in the outer world. Receiving becomes possible when your body stops bracing for rejection, when your heart stops expecting disappointment, when your nervous system stops preparing for collapse. That's what we're clearing. Not the abundance itself, but the resistance to it. And this resistance often shows up in patterns. The pattern of overgiving, the pattern of minimizing needs, the pattern of proving, performing, pushing. Each of these is a response to the belief, if I give enough, do enough, hold enough, maybe then I'll be allowed to receive. But you're already allowed. You've always been allowed. The universe does not withhold. It only mirrors. So, if your channel is blocked, life reflects that tension. But as you soften, life softens with you. This is not about perfection. It's about honesty. Honesty about how much you truly want. Honesty about what you've been avoiding. Honesty about how often you've made yourself small in order to feel safe. It's time to come out of hiding, to name what you need, not with shame, but with clarity. To feel desire, not as greed, but as guidance. To let yourself have without guilt. You don't need to wait for permission. You don't need to be more healed, more spiritual, more worthy. You're already enough to receive. Now, the clearer the channel, the simpler life becomes. You stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop bracing. You start opening. You stop performing. You start being. This is what it means to be available to life. Not grasping. Not demanding. Just ready. Willing. Trusting. And when you live this way, the field reorganizes. Support finds you. Synchronicities increase. Guidance feels louder. You begin to notice how much is already flowing and how little you need to control. The practice is simple. Return to the body. Notice the contraction. Breathe into it. Stay. Each time you do, the channel opens more. Not all at once, but steadily, gently, powerfully. You begin to live as a vessel. Open, anchored, receptive. This doesn't mean passive. It means aligned. You move when it's time. You act with clarity. You speak from fullness, not from lack. And your life reflects that. Because a clear channel is magnetic. It pulls toward it what matches its truth. So clear gently. Clear often. Clear with love. You don't have to force the flow. You only have to stop resisting it. You only have to allow. Let this be your practice. To trust yourself enough to open. To trust life enough to receive. To trust the energy enough to stop bracing. You are not waiting. You are welcoming. And what you welcome welcomes you back. Chapter 3. Prosperity as a frequency. Prosperity is not something that arrives. It's something you tune to. It's not a finish line to cross, a goal to win, or a number to chase. It's a frequency, a vibrational state that you either live in or resist. You've already touched it before, even if just for a moment, in stillness, in gratitude, in that deep breath where everything felt whole, if only for a second. That wasn't an accident. That was you. Clear, aligned, coherent. The question is not how to find prosperity. It's how to stay in that frequency long enough for it to shape your life. Your body already knows what that feels like. Relaxed, open, present, grounded. There's no grasping in prosperity, no clenching, no proving. There's simply being and allowing life to respond to that being. So what pulls you out? Not external conditions, but your attachment to them. The belief that you'll feel abundant once something outside changes. Once the income grows. Once the debt clears. Once the outcome shows up. But this postpones the state you're meant to embody now. You don't feel prosperous because something happened. Something happens because you feel prosperous. Frequency leads. Form follows. So tune in now. Breathe. Notice your current state. Is it open or closed? Is it trusting or guarded? Is it grounded or seeking? You don't need to judge what you find. You only need to feel it. That alone begins to shift the signal. Living in the frequency of prosperity means choosing alignment, not as a reward, but as a baseline. It means treating your energy like currency, knowing that how you feel is what you fund. Each thought is a choice. Each breath is a signal. Each emotion is a broadcast. You don't have to be perfect to live in this frequency. You only need to be willing to return to it. Over and over. Again and again. When doubt arises, return. When fear speaks, return. When the mind tells stories of not enough, pause and return. The return is the practice. The return is the power. This doesn't mean ignoring your reality. It means choosing not to anchor your identity in temporary conditions. You can acknowledge the bill and still feel wealthy. You can notice the delay and still feel supported. You can be in the unknown and still feel safe, because frequency is not a reaction. It's a decision. And prosperity, when lived as a frequency, shifts everything. It shifts how you speak. You begin to speak with more clarity, less apology. You say no without guilt. You say yes without fear. It shifts how you move. No more scrambling, no more grasping. You act when it's time, and you rest when it's not. It shifts what you attract. People feel you, not your words, your signal. They don't know why they trust you, respect you, want to support you. But it's because you're no longer leaking energy trying to be something. You are simply being. This is prosperity. Not wealth as a number, but wealth as a state of being. It might look like overflow, or simplicity, or spaciousness, or just knowing, without evidence, that everything is working in your favor. This is the kind of wealth that cannot be taken, because it was never dependent on form. It lives in your field. And when the field is clean, the forms begin to follow. Money, opportunities, resources, support. They all begin to move toward you because they finally have somewhere to land. You've made space. You've tuned the signal. You've said, through your being, I am ready now. And the universe responds not to your want, but to your readiness. So live the frequency. Practice it. Speak from it in every conversation. Choose from it in every decision. Align with it in every pause. This is how prosperity becomes your natural state, not through striving, but through staying. Staying in coherence, staying in trust, staying in truth. And when you forget, just return. No shame, no drama, just awareness. That return is the most powerful thing you can do, because every time you return, you get stronger, clearer, closer, not to something outside of you, but to the version of you who already is prosperity. Live from that version. Think from that version. Move from that version. Let that be your frequency. And watch how life responds, not eventually, but now. Chapter 4. Breaking the agreement with struggle. Let it be soft. Let it be clean. Let it be yours. But if this still feels unfamiliar, know that this discomfort is part of the rewiring. When you've lived in tension long enough, peace can feel like danger. It can feel like something's off. Like you've forgotten something. Like there's a cost just around the corner. That's the old contract whispering, you can't rest yet. You haven't earned it, but you have. You did. You always could. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply remembering what life feels like without struggle as a filter, and that remembering takes practice. It might feel strange to wake up without urgency, to move through your day without internal pressure, to end a task without needing to over-deliver, to allow joy without fear it'll be taken away. So let yourself relearn how to feel safe in the absence of difficulty. Because abundance flows not through pressure, but through openness. And openness is only sustainable when it feels safe too. Stay open. This is nervous system work. This is frequency work. This is wealth from the inside out. So ask your body what ease feels like, where it lives, where it hesitates, where it wants to open but needs more trust. And offer that trust. Let yourself choose the slower option. Let yourself pause before reacting. Let yourself skip the over-explanation. Let yourself end the day knowing you did enough. And you are enough. Ease doesn't make you less. It makes you more available to life. Because in that space where the struggle used to live, something new emerges. Clarity. Clarity about what actually matters. Clarity about who you are without the performance. Clarity about what you want, not from fear, but from truth. And from that clarity, aligned action becomes obvious. You no longer need to overthink or second guess. You move from the inside out. This is what freedom feels like. Not doing nothing, but doing only what's true. Not avoiding effort, but aligning effort with energy. Not escaping discomfort, but no longer building an identity around it. You begin to see how often struggle was a distraction, a way to delay your expansion, a way to feel worthy through friction instead of stillness. And as that clears, you free your future, because the more you break the cycle, the less your energy is entangled in unnecessary resistance. Suddenly, new ideas have space to land. New relationships feel lighter. Time stretches. You are no longer leaking your power into proving, and that power returns, not as force, but as presence. You walk into a room differently. You speak differently. You say no faster. You say yes more cleanly. You stop apologizing for your clarity, and others feel it, even if they can't explain it, because your frequency is no longer coded in struggle. It's grounded in ease, in truth, in coherence. And life responds to that. So when doubt creeps back, and it will, return to your breath, return to your body, return to the place inside you that remembers this is not a new path. It's a return to how it always could have been. You don't need to wait until you've healed everything. You don't need to wait until you're fearless. You only need to be willing to stop choosing struggle when it's no longer required. That is enough. That is the shift. That is the freedom. Break the contract. Gently, daily, boldly. Say, I am safe in ease. I release the need to prove. I trust the path that unfolds when I stop fighting myself, and then walk forward. Not harder, not faster, just cleaner. Let life show you what becomes possible when you stop worshiping pain and start honoring peace. Let this be your new foundation. Ease as strength, stillness as magnetism, clarity as prosperity. The struggle was never the source. You were. You are. You always will be. Chapter 5. The energy of circulation. Prosperity is not about accumulation. It's about flow. Stagnation is not wealth. It's fear dressed as security. True abundance moves. It breathes. It circulates. We've been taught to hoard, to save, to protect what we have in case of lack. But this energy of holding tight is what disrupts the current. The more you try to contain prosperity, the more it slips through your grasp. Money is a mirror. It reflects the state of your energy. When you're open, relaxed, trusting, money flows. When you're anxious, rigid, or grasping, it slows, clogs, or vanishes. Circulation isn't about recklessness. It's about faith. It's about knowing that energy wants to move through you, not just to you. So ask, where am I damming the river? Where am I holding back? Afraid to spend, to give, to enjoy, out of fear that it won't return. That fear doesn't protect you. It constricts you. The same energy that fears losing what it has will also resist receiving more. When your channel is tight, even blessings struggle to reach you. To circulate is to trust that what you give returns, that what you release creates space, that what you offer without attachment multiplies. This isn't just about money. It's about presence, about time, about love, about generosity of spirit. You've felt this before. That sense of effortless giving when you shared something not from obligation, but from overflow. And somehow, mysteriously, more came back. In new forms, unexpected ways. That's not coincidence. That's coherence. Prosperity expands in the direction of your trust. And trust expands when you circulate. Think of the breath. You inhale. You exhale. You don't cling to the breath. You trust that more is coming. Now consider how you spend money. Is there tension, hesitation, guilt? Do you spend from fear or from clarity? From lack or from joy? It's not the amount that matters. It's the energy behind it. You can spend $5 with gratitude and flow and open a portal, or spend $5,000 with fear and block the entire field. Circulation is not about how much. It's about how. Are you in your body when you give? Are you aligned when you invest? Are you expanding when you choose? Every transaction is energetic. It's not about the money. It's about the frequency of exchange. So choose your frequency. When you circulate with integrity, life mirrors that. Support shows up. Ideas arrive. People respond, not because you pushed, but because you flowed. Let your life become a loop, not a line. Energy in, energy out, energy in again. Just like the tide, just like your breath, just like your being. This requires trust, and trust is built in stillness. So when fear arises, and it will, pause. Don't react. Don't grasp. Just feel. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to protect? And is that protection still true today? Then breathe. Anchor back into the field. Remember the truth. You are not separate from the source. You are part of the circuit. And when you play your part, the current returns. Not always instantly. Not always in the form you expect. But always, give without depletion. Spend with consciousness. Receive without guilt. Let it move. Let it land. Let it rise again. Prosperity is not about ownership. It's about orchestration. You are a conductor, not a container. You shape the field with your signal, and your signal is strongest when it's clear, relaxed, and in rhythm. So create rhythm. Practice small circulations every day. A gift, a tip, a donation, a moment of presence, a generous word, a paid invoice sent with love, not dread. And each time you do, feel the current strengthen. You are not losing. You are aligning. You are not spending. You are activating. You are not giving away. You are making room. Circulation is not a risk. It's a requirement. Stagnation is what you cannot afford. Let life flow through you. Not in a rush, not in fear, but in rhythm, in trust, in joy. This is the new prosperity, not built on control, but on current, not on holding, but on honoring the movement of energy. So move with it. Become the breath. Live as the tide. Give as the field, and receive. As the echo, you are not the end of abundance. You are its continuation. Chapter 6. Wealth without guilt. For many, the pursuit of prosperity is tangled with guilt. Quiet, unconscious, often inherited. It whispers, is it okay to want more? Am I greedy for desiring ease? Will others suffer if I succeed? Am I abandoning my roots if I rise? This guilt isn't personal. It's ancestral, cultural, emotional. It's the echo of stories passed down from generations who survived, not by thriving, but by sacrificing. You may carry the memory of hardship in your DNA. You may have watched your parents struggle, friends make do, communities normalize scarcity. And so when prosperity begins to flow, the nervous system doesn't always say, thank you. Sometimes it says, be careful. Don't get too big. Don't leave anyone behind. Don't draw too much attention. These are not facts. These are trauma echoes. Echoes that tighten the channel, that dim the light, that delay the receiving. To release guilt, you must meet it with compassion, not force. Ask gently, where did I learn that wanting more made me bad? Whose struggle am I still trying to honor by holding myself small? Where do I confuse wealth with disconnection or betrayal or harm? You do not heal guilt by pretending it's not there. You heal it by understanding that it's trying to protect something. Your belonging, your connection, your identity. But you are allowed to rewrite the story. You are allowed to be prosperous and kind, wealthy and generous, abundant and humble, resourced and rooted. Having more does not make you less loving. It allows you to give from fullness instead of depletion. But guilt will convince you otherwise until you bring it into the light. Speak to it. Thank it. Say, I know you're trying to keep me safe, but I no longer need to shrink to belong, because here is the truth. Your poverty doesn't save anyone. Your self-denial doesn't lift anyone higher. Your struggle doesn't make the world more fair. It only makes your energy less available for the work you're here to do. Prosperity expands your capacity, not just to have, but to offer, to share wisdom, to circulate resources, to build what others can stand on. Wealth isn't the enemy. Disconnection is. Fear is. Guilt that keeps you silent is. When you align with wealth, from clarity, from heart, from presence, you become a beacon. You show what's possible. You give others permission to rise. You remind the room that ease is not selfish. It's sacred. But you cannot do that while fighting yourself internally. So let guilt go. Not with anger, but with grace. Release the idea that there's only so much goodness to go around. Release the belief that having means harming. Release the identity that finds safety in limitation. Say to yourself, I am allowed to want more, not to escape others, but to serve from overflow. I am allowed to receive, without apology. I am allowed to enjoy, without earning it 10 times over. And if the mind resists, let the body lead. Let yourself breathe more deeply. Let yourself take up space without flinching. Let yourself receive a compliment, a check, a rest day, without shrinking. This is how guilt dissolves, not with logic, but with embodiment. And as you live from that space, the signal shifts. You stop over-explaining your wins. You stop hiding your success in fear of being judged. You stop diluting your power to protect others from their discomfort. Because you realize their discomfort is not your burden. Your light is not a weapon, and your wealth, when aligned, is medicine. Let that be your new understanding. That you can carry love and money in the same heart. That you can be grateful and want more. That you can honor your past and outgrow it. No guilt, no apology, no shrinking. Just truth, just breath, just power. Lived softly. This is wealth without guilt, not a transaction, a frequency. Let yourself live there, and let others meet you there too. Chapter 7. Desire as a Sacred Guide. Desire is not the enemy of spirituality. Desire is not a distraction. Desire is a compass. It's how your soul speaks, through longings, nudges, whispers, and visions. It's how life pulls you forward, not by demand, but by invitation. Yet many people have learned to suppress desire, to distrust it, to treat it as something shameful, selfish, or unsafe. You were likely told, be grateful for what you have. Don't ask for too much. Wanting more is greedy. Desire leads to disappointment, and so you tucked it away. You made do. You silenced your inner fire to fit someone else's comfort. But desire never dies. It waits, softly, quietly, until you're ready to listen again. The truth is, desire is not here to make you needy. It's here to make you ready, ready to step beyond your current limits, ready to receive something deeper, ready to meet the next version of you, the one your soul already recognizes. So let's ask, without fear, what do I truly want? If I stopped apologizing for my dreams, what would I name? What vision has been waiting for me to return? This is not a surface craving. This is about resonance. When you name your true desires, not the ones rooted in ego, but in essence, something shifts. You no longer chase. You align. You no longer grasp. You attract. Because desire becomes distorted when it's denied, but when it's honored, it becomes a map, a sacred signal. It tells you where your energy is meant to go, what direction your life wants to evolve in, where the soil is rich for growth. And the most powerful thing you can do is trust it. Not just the desire, but your right to feel it. Say, I am safe to want. I am safe to expand. I am safe to follow the pull of my own becoming. This is not indulgence. This is integrity. Because when you follow your truest desire, the ones that live in your body, not just your mind, you live in flow. You find energy where you once felt fatigue. You speak with clarity where you once hesitated. You meet opportunities that feel like home. This is alignment in action. But what if you're afraid your desire will lead to failure? That's conditioning. That's an old story. That's not truth. Desire doesn't guarantee a straight path. It guarantees a true one. You may be stretched. You may be asked to let go of what's safe. You may be invited into discomfort. But it's the discomfort of growth, not punishment. And every step you take in the direction of your desire reshapes your field. Your frequency sharpens. Your nervous system adjusts. Your posture shifts from collapse to openness, and the field responds. You don't have to force manifestation. You just have to walk with desire, hand in hand, moment by moment. Let it speak to you again. Let it rise without judgment. Desire is how life expresses itself through you. It's how the formless becomes form, how potential becomes real, how energy becomes creation. So don't shrink from it. Don't cover it in guilt. Don't weigh it down with justification. Let it breathe. Let it lead. Even if others don't understand. Even if you don't yet see how. Even if the desire feels too big, too bold, too soon, that's okay. You're not here to convince anyone. You're here to remember. To remember that desire, in its highest form, is not what takes from the world. It's what builds it. Your desire is sacred, and when honored, it blesses everyone it touches. So live from that place. Not with rush, but with reverence. Ask each day, What am I drawn to now? What wants to move through me today? What part of me is waking up, asking to be claimed? And follow it, gently, bravely, clearly. This is not chasing. This is becoming. Let that be your rhythm. Let that be your wealth. Let that be your power. Clean, honest, and alive. Desire is not what pulls you away from yourself. It's what brings you home. Chapter 8. Becoming magnetic. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are, what you carry in your field, not in your words, not in your vision board, but in your being. Magnetism isn't about perfection. It's not about being always positive, always radiant, always confident. It's about coherence, the alignment between your energy, your truth, and your choices. You've met magnetic people before. They walk into a room and shift the atmosphere, not because they say the right things, but because their energy is clean. They're not trying to be liked. They're not hiding or performing. They're simply at home in themselves. That's the kind of presence you can cultivate. That's the kind of energy that draws the right people, opportunities, and abundance without chasing. So how do you become magnetic? You clear the noise. You stop pretending. You stop managing impressions. You stop trading authenticity for approval. Because every time you hide a part of yourself to fit in, you dim your field. Every time you override your intuition to please someone else, you leak power. Every time you abandon your body for your image, you disrupt your signal. Magnetism begins when you come back into integrity, when your words match your truth, when your desires match your action, when your energy is not split between who you are and who you think you're supposed to be. This coherence is felt. Others may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. It feels like clarity. It feels like trust. It feels like presence. Magnetism is not about effort. It's about permission. When you fully allow yourself to be, you give others permission to do the same. And in that field of honesty, alignment happens naturally. The right opportunities find you. The right people remember you. The right doors open, not because you pushed, but because you matched. This isn't passive. This is powerful. Because a magnetic person doesn't sit back waiting. They are actively aligned. They act from truth, not urgency. They speak from resonance, not reactivity. They move with the rhythm of their energy, not with the pressure of time. So ask, where am I? Out of alignment? What part of me is trying to earn instead of allow? What story am I still performing that no longer fits? And release it. Drop the performance. Drop the apology. Drop the delay. When you stop betraying yourself to be chosen, you become unmissable. Because you're no longer broadcasting confusion. You're sending a clean signal. This is who I am. This is what I value. This is what I hold. And that clarity draws coherence in return. Magnetism also requires boundaries. Because if your field is always open to everything, it loses definition. You can't magnetize if you're constantly leaking attention, time, and energy to what doesn't serve. So be clear. What are you available for? What are you no longer entertaining? What version of yourself are you feeding with every yes and no? Your boundaries are not walls. They are tuning forks. They calibrate your field. They say to the world, I honor my energy, so what comes to me must honor it too. From there, you don't have to chase. You simply hold. Hold your signal. Hold your standard. Hold your knowing. Even when it's quiet. Even when it's slow. Even when no one else sees it yet. That's magnetism. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's steady. It builds trust, not just with others, but with life. Because life responds to consistency, to clarity, to energy that's anchored, not reactive. So anchor. Come home to yourself again and again. Speak from truth, not from need. Move from alignment, not from pressure. And watch what meets you in that stillness. Not because you hunted it down, but because you matched its frequency. You don't have to convince what's meant for you. You only have to become someone it can recognize. That's the art of being magnetic. Not chasing, just becoming and letting the field respond. Chapter 9. Embodying Prosperity. It's one thing to think about prosperity, to visualize it, to journal about it, to repeat affirmations and set intentions. But real transformation doesn't come from concepts. It comes from embodiment. To embody prosperity means you don't just think wealthy thoughts. You live as if abundance is your natural state. You walk like it, breathe like it, choose like it, respond like it, even before the bank account reflects it, even before the evidence shows up, even before the world claps for your becoming. Embodiment is the bridge between belief and reality. It's not pretending. It's not faking it. It's anchoring into the truth before the world confirms it. So ask yourself, how does the version of me who lives in overflow move through the day? How does that version say yes? How do they say no? How do they handle money, time, relationships? Now, without waiting, start to live from that version. In micro choices, in posture, in the tone of your voice, in what you tolerate, and what you release. This is how you become it. Not someday. Now. Because prosperity is a state of being before it is a state of finance. And when your nervous system stabilizes in that state, the material catches up. But most people wait. Wait for the external to give them permission to feel free, to feel supported, to feel safe, to feel enough. This is the reversal. Don't wait to feel it. Feel it and watch what shifts. Embodying prosperity doesn't mean spending recklessly. It means relating to money from trust, not fear. It means creating with clarity, not scarcity. It means knowing your presence is already valuable. So, before it's validated, let it reflect in the way you show up. Dress like you respect yourself. Eat like your body is sacred. Rest like your worth isn't in question. Invest like you believe in your future. Speak like you trust your voice. Create like someone who knows they're held. This isn't about perfection. It's about congruence. When you feel prosperous, you don't need to broadcast it. It shows in your boundaries, in your breath, in your choices, in your ability to stay calm in uncertainty. That's what embodiment looks like. Calm clarity in moments where you used to collapse. You stop rushing. You stop over-explaining. You stop managing other people's emotions. You become the space, the field, the invitation, and life notices. You'll begin to receive from new directions. You'll make decisions faster. You'll say no without guilt, and yes without doubt, because your body, your energy, your frequency are all aligned. And from that place, your outer reality becomes a mirror. Prosperity becomes normal, not because you forced it, but because you became a match for it. So, return to your body again and again. Let it teach you where you still grasp, where you still shrink, where you still wait. Then breathe. Anchor. Choose differently. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to practice presence. With your energy, with your money, with your time, with your relationships, with your expansion. Every small act of embodiment rewires the signal. You become safer to yourself, more trustworthy to your vision, more magnetic to what's true. This is the frequency that doesn't just create success. It sustains it. So don't just think prosperity. Don't just affirm it. Be it. Feel it. Live it. And let the field reflect what you've already become. Chapter 10. Living the Field. Prosperity is not a destination. It's not a milestone you reach once and then maintain forever. It's a field, a frequency you live in, tend to, return to, and evolve within. It is not static. It moves as you move. It deepens as you deepen. It expands as you expand. To live the field of prosperity means that abundance is no longer a goal. It's your home frequency, the place you return to when all performance, pressure, and pretense fall away. It's not just about having. It's about being at peace, being in flow, being connected to your source, without interruption. This field isn't something you build from scratch. It's something you remember. And as you remember it, you begin to shape your life in ways that protect that remembrance. You move differently. You don't rush choices that need time. You don't apologize for your clarity. You don't attach your value to your output. You stop hustling for things already woven into your path. You begin to live with reverence. Reverence for your time, for your energy, for the signals your body sends, for the guidance that only silence reveals. You begin to see prosperity not just in wealth, but in rhythm. The rhythm of a morning that doesn't start in panic. The rhythm of rest that doesn't need to be justified. The rhythm of days that feel light, honest, clear. Living the field means you honor the current instead of resisting it. You understand that you are not here to force your life forward. You are here to listen, respond, align, and allow. This is not passive. It is deeply engaged. But it's engagement without burnout, action without force, expansion without distortion. So how do you stay in the field? Through awareness, through boundaries, through embodiment. You learn what takes you out, the conversations that drain, the habits that distract, the environments that disconnect, and you choose, every day, to protect your alignment as your most sacred asset. You don't have to cut everything out all at once. You just start noticing, and then, choosing differently, you'll begin to realize that prosperity is a side effect of coherence. When your inner world is clear, your outer world begins to match. The right relationships feel obvious. The right ideas carry energy. The right timing makes itself known. It stops being a chase. It becomes a dance. You are no longer trying to prove that you deserve ease. You are living from the knowing that you are ease. And that energy shifts rooms, shapes decisions, and draws support. The field is alive. It responds to how you treat yourself, how you speak about your life, how you spend your attention. Attention is currency. Where you give it determines what grows. So give it wisely. Feed the thoughts that expand you. Water the habits that anchor you. Nurture the environments that remind you of your truth. Let your entire life be a reflection of the field, not just your career, not just your finances, but your relationships, your language, your home, your calendar, your body. Let it all match. That's living prosperity. Not in parts, but in wholeness. This doesn't mean you'll never feel off. It means you'll know how to return. With less delay, less drama, more grace. The return becomes your greatest tool. Because the longer you live in the field, the more clear the contrast becomes. You'll know immediately when something isn't aligned. You'll feel it, not as fear, but as a quiet, firm no. And you'll trust it. This is mastery, not control, but listening, not force, but frequency. So live the field, speak from it, create from it, Rest in it, receive from it, and let everything you do, give, build, and become carry the signature of that clarity. That's what true prosperity looks like. Not just success, but serenity. Not just achievement, but alignment. Not just more, but enough. You are already inside it, and it is already inside you. Now, live from there. Thank you for listening.